Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everyone in between, welcome back to the Drawing Board, episode 9. It's your boy Mohammed once again. Joining me today, Krish and Heat. You want to introduce yourself?
Yo, yo, yo. You guys know me. I'm Krish. I'm chilling. But actually, the real star of the show today is Heath. You know,
Thank
he's
you.
he's not often heard of, but he's a powerful force. Heath, what would you like to say?
What was that?
I don't know. Yeah.
We have to guess the guess, of course.
First time being on the show. I don't know. I think it'll be fun. We'll see how it goes.
Heath, if what's your favorite type of dinosaur?
Dinosaur, bro. Shit. Bro, I know like 2 types of dinosaurs. That's actually sad. Shit, yeah. Like you know the rhino one? That was pretty cool.
The Triceratops.
Triceratops?
Shit, let's go with that one. Yeah.
Yo, Loki, why is it that like all boys like under the age of like 8 are so infatuated with dinosaurs? Like more than even any other animal. And like Loki, you lose that like spark or that interest in them as you grow a little older.
Are they like? I feel like I only like 3 dinosaurs. Like, I feel like they're interested in all animals that are badass. They're just as interested in like lions and tigers and leopards and cheetahs.
Yeah, I was allergic to tigers, bro. Like I remember elementary school having a whole presentation about that shit.
Yeah, Loki. Like
About tigers, the Bengal tiger.
In grade 3, I made a presentation about Christopher Columbus, like stole stuff from India, and then he stole stuff. And then he like
Christian is
he's the one who brought.
colonialism arc in grade 3.
I kid you not. I'm just still had that. Like I went home and made the PowerPoint presentation, and I like, told my teacher, I was like, "Yo, like, did you know that this guy Christopher Columbus like stole like a bunch of diamonds from India? Like we need to educate these youth." But lunchtime, I was up there giving the presentation.
Dude, I was in grade, I think it was grade 1. I don't know what it was, but like I was so interested in like how rain and like snow work, right? And so like for in one class, I did go up to my teacher. I'm like, "Oh, teacher, can I teach the class about like clouds and like how snow and rain works?" And she's like, "Yeah, if you want." So I at least go up there like impromptu, just give a presentation to the class about how snow works. She's just like, "Yeah, okay, we're gonna come home."
That's wild.
And then, so yeah, I guess we can get into it. Heath, how are you finding San Francisco in general?
That's actually like a vibe. Like anyone you meet is doing some crack shit, and people here like the first time I was asked like what do you do, or like and then like kind of caught me off guard because like I don't really get asked that like often, or like when I bump into someone, it's like, oh yeah, like how are you, like how's your day going, right? But here people
Yeah.
ask like what's your startup, like what are you doing,
Mm.
and it kind of caught me off guard at first, but like it just kind of like becomes the usual as you go on and like live your.
But it's kind of a terrible question because like the answer to that question like changes on the time frame of like years. Like you'll be doing the same thing for years, and so like maybe what are you up to is like a better question, but like it just still sounds so like Mac. I guess like you haven't experienced it, but like once you come to SF, which you will eventually,
Of course.
filling up to visit, you'll understand that like literally every single conversation starts with like you're like what do you do for like a living or for work
Yeah.
or something, and like it's cool at the start because like it's refreshing, but then it just becomes boring, and so like I'm on a quest to find better icebreakers, for especially like SF tech bros.
Does it have like because there's like a big stereotype of like in LA, people will be like, "Oh, like what do you do in terms of like how many followers do you have on Instagram?" Basically, does it like in SF, is it more of like a collaborative environment where people are interested in knowing what you're doing so that they can potentially work together? Or is it more of like a trying to one up you?
No, it's pretty collaborative. I mean, you SF like the scene here is like very very helpful for one another, but like it is like I don't know how many Twitter followers you have. It's more like how much like funding is your startup raise is like
Mm.
probably better.
That too.
So, but in general, the culture is very like open and people are like helping
Yeah,
each
it's
other.
open and helpful. Like the entire community runs on like people like connecting one another and like partnerships and stuff, and like it's also like everyone, although they're doing their own thing, like has a bunch of ideas for a bunch of other stuff, and so like they're very open with like their knowledge and ideas, which is really good.
Yeah, like I think a couple days here, it's the people that's what's made this place like what it is, And yeah, like what Chris was saying, it's people are pretty open to like sharing their ideas or like giving their input on even on your ideas too. Like we went out this other day and like I was talking to this guy about like the idea I had, right? And it was like and he was giving me like a different like uh POV of like how to look at it.
Mhm.
And yeah, just like get insights on like what other people are thinking like that you might have missed, right?
Yeah, I guess that makes sense though, because like I guess there's a reason that Silicon Valley has been like so successful like since its advent, and part of that is probably like just the culture being collaborative. Because like if they were constantly tearing each other down, we probably would see less successful startups and big companies coming out of the valley, right?
Dude, the other thing is like it's so easy to meet your idols here. It's wild. Like there's like people who I looked up to 3 years ago, like as like gods basically, and now like I just run into them every day. It's like very insane. Like you can only get that in like a purely like walkable city. Like the city is like 7 by 7 miles, right?
Yeah.
And so like you can walk anywhere you go. And I literally meet like friends I haven't seen in a long time on the bus to like coming back from work.
The bus ride today was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were about to get off and this guy like comes on and he's like, what do you say to the driver?
He was like, yo, bus driver, like, why have we stopped? I can't stay on the bus for more than 90 seconds. Like, then to talk to
Wait, what?
and then the bus driver's like, like, what? It's like, yeah, like, I'm like, I just came out of this like psychiatric ward. I'm claustrophobic.
Oh,
And the doctor,
you want me to get out the fucking bus
and the
then?
bus driver's like, yo, there's an ambulance right there if you need it, right? And then he's like, nah, I'm playing, bro. This guy like lugged a whole suitcase on the bus. You definitely look like a crackhead.
Elite trolling. I guess that just shows like how big of a impact that your like environment has then, right? Just like as your culture that you're like around. Just like kind of an anecdote, like when he was like back in Vancouver, like we were kind of memeing them when we were at the restaurant. They were asking about like their it's like their startup idea or whatever. Like me and Amber were like, oh look, these nerds like they're asking about startups or whatever. But like the fact that you guys like constantly had that like on your mind, like constantly looking for like opportunities or like seeing like how you can potentially like ask people look for mentorship type of thing, like that's like I think it's like very rare, especially like from my experience in like UBC or like that type of environment. But like considering you guys are in Waterloo and like everybody in your like immediate environment is like trying to do a startup, trying to like create something like that, I think it's really like positive environment.
Yeah, I agree. I agree it can be really fun. I also agree like everyone still fits a phenotype, right? Or like an archetype. Like it's just like if you're in SF, you're like a random like technology like maxi if you're into AGI, trying to raise money for like some random like website you're making. Like,
Yeah.
I'll probably classify like 80% of people like that. And so it's like it's hard to determine whether you should even be in there, like like whether you want to be in there, and then whether you actually are. And they're often like not the same.
Mhm. Yeah, that makes sense. You guys said there was a shift following like the, I guess we can talk about the whole SVB crash or anything. Like, have you guys noticed like a big shift in like just the air of people and how kind of uh, like how they're behaving and stuff like that?
No,
Not at all, bro. Like
no,
the city kept chugging. Uh, like those like crazy shit happens all the time here. It's like it was just like it was just like insane news for a little bit, and then died down, and like people are back to talking about like whatever they're talking about. Um, like just like when like FTX blew up, people talked about it for like a couple of days, and then they stopped. Like this one's a bit more serious. Like okay, so like both the companies I work for, um, like they both like had all their money in SVB. Okay, one of them one of them like the CFO was so insane that like before the actual crash, he somehow predicted that like it would be crashing, and he pulled like 9 million. Like he pulled like 75% of. Maybe this is under NDA. No, he pulled
I
up.
can believe it. It's too late, yo. It's out now.
He pulled up like a bunch of money
yeah.
like before the crash, and like an hour later he went back to pull out like the rest, and like accounts were frozen. So this guy like literally saved the company too, like just like on a whim. Like he didn't even ask anyone to do it. He was like at night he was like, yeah, like I'm probably just gonna like wire this money out, and he saved the company. And another company I worked for, which I won't name, but like they kept their money in, and like shit went bad. It was like pretty crazy. But then like in the end, like the government bailed them out.
Yeah, people are getting their money back for the most part, right?
No, everyone's getting their full money back. It's like
Okay.
assured.
I
Yeah.
heard like stockholders are being left out to dry though. Like anybody who had invested in SVB and because of the stock, like they're not getting anything back, so they're still fucked.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, like
That's like
happened for
smaller. Yeah, it's like a
Yeah. I
smaller
mean,
part of the
like suddenly
population.
the market like it's just loss. But
Mhm.
yeah.
Do you guys obviously like you might be biased considering you're like very much in the startup sphere and it's like beneficial for you to for the bank to stay afloat. But like, do you guys kind of in general agree with like the government bailouts, or do you think that like the market should have like let the market forces work and like let the bank fail? Like, what do you guys think?
for this one, like the government needed like to step in because like first of all, the economy was like already like shutters, right?
Right, but
Yeah,
like you can't have capitalism for the profits and communism for the
Yeah.
losses, right? Like that doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, but like they like this happened before in 2008, right? And they cannot have that happen again to the US economy, especially when the US economy like influences the global markets.
This is different from 2004. Like 2004 was all banks.
Yeah. But
That's
like
mortgage bonds.
if all these startups are losing like their paychecks to like pay their employees or like funding to like move on and like take things to the next level and they can't do that, then like people get more and more layoffs. People get like this all happened because like of panic, right?
yeah,
And like if the government didn't step in, I think like if people get more and more layoffs, like 100%,
Oh, more banks would get like
yeah, and like people would
yeah.
just do bank runs like crazy. Um,
that's,
yeah, I don't know,
it's
but
almost
Because
so dumb.
wasn't it like close to like 50 other smaller banks also basically had like a bank run on them and they were near failing if the government hadn't stepped in, and that was only like the government built like came and like bailed out SVB and we still had all that. So I mean, in a way, like it is definitely like defensible for them to come and build them up.
I also think it's just like waste to like spend so much time thinking about like finances like this. Like it makes sense for the startups because like they have to
Mhm.
pay people. Like us as like regular individuals, like why should we even like care? Like why should we spend any mind space or energy like worrying about if like a bank run is gonna happen or like whether we should like invest with a certain interest rate? Like I just find like that entire logistical part of life so mind-numbingly like boring. Like,
well, like you have because like it's how the economy works, and at some point,
like
like you're gonna
there's
be, uh, like the head of your like family or like whatever, and like you're gonna have shit ton of money in the bank or like in the bank or in the market, and like if it goes to shutters, like what are you gonna do?
like humanity wasn't made to just like play like basically like, gamble in like some like makeshift like virtual economy that we've created. Like it was made to like like enjoy life and like talk to each other. Like I just think we've really propped up an entire industry on like just like nothingness.
You cut out. What were you saying? You cut
Like
out.
the entire like finance industry. like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
honestly,
I-
I kind of agree. Like, I think the entire just finance sector is mind-numbingly boring, and I also think that like the way we analyze it often is like incorrect in a way. It's like we try to like approach it as it's some empirically based thing. Like we know if we do X, if we raise X interest rates, it's going to lead to X. We're going to have less inflation, et cetera, et cetera. But a lot of the time, it's like it's a social science, right? Like, why is it suddenly that like SVB like what's it called like had a bank run. Like obviously there's like factors that we can say, oh, like people were whatever the mortgage back interest and people found out and they started taking their money out. But like just the fact that most of it was caused by panic, I think trying to analyze economics in the absence of it like being basically a social science is like kind of like dumb. And that's how most people will do it. They try to analyze it from a pure numbers game and it just becomes boring because of that.
do you think it would be
Does that
fun
make
if it
sense?
was like do you
I mean
think
like it's I don't think it's more fun. I just think it becomes like kind of like a non-discussion factor because like you can't really ever empirically discuss like social sciences in the same way that we do economics now. Like we can talk about like just I don't know, like if we talk about psychology or sociology, it's like we can have general theories about how stuff works, but then they're not really like applicable in like a empirical sense. So we can't make predictions based on them. We can make observations and create like generalities, but then we try to create like observations and then use them actually when we do economics, and it doesn't really work very often. I don't know. Maybe I'm talking out of my ass because I don't know enough, but
No, like
you
I
got
think
coming from the
I agree. Like it's definitely not like like you can't predict markets, or like
yeah, exactly.
not accurately at least. And then like even if you are like, I don't know, it just seems so pointless and mind-numbingly useless. Like if you just like it's definitely not fun. Like is it fun?
Like,
No, I mean, like,
I mean, that's one opinion, right? Like, obviously.
But I'm just like thinking of investment bankers. Like they don't seem like they're having fun.
they're definitely not having fun. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like,
I mean, and even like talking about it, like on a personal level, it's like, yeah, so the economy is really bad right now. So I'm gonna put my stocks in, so and so.
Like
It's
how
like,
many
bro,
times
like,
have you had that
bro,
conversation? I
yeah,
guess you can say that for a lot of jobs, honestly.
yeah, I mean, like, if somebody wasn't like coding, like, or in the software industry, they're like, oh, look at those nerds. They're just like on their computers all day long, like coding one thing. Like, isn't that boring? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
like it's the same thing.
yeah.
Or at least, I don't know, but doctors, I guess, like, so one hospital overnight, like,
I don't think anyone would ever say being a doctor's boy. I'm not gonna lie. Like a surgeon.
yeah, okay. That's like dope. It's like,
Yeah.
you so much
I,
time.
I think maybe the reason like we think, or like I would say that's boring, is like even compared to something like software engineering, like there's no value actually being created when you're a stockbroker. Like, oh, like I made money for like I had a 10% increase in our year to date like returns or whatever, right? But it's like, what does that mean? Like you just created money out of nothing. You didn't actually add any value to the world in terms of like products or services or anything, right?
Yeah, like there's nothing to be prideful about except for the fact that you made money. But like money should be like a representation of like stuff you can be prideful about, right? It's like in some sense, you're just like prideful that you're prideful.
Like money should be a representation of value, not the value in and of itself, right? And like within finance, it is
Tweet that.
yeah,
You
that, yeah. But in finance, I guess it is the value in and of itself. Yeah. So since that's so boring, let's stop talking about it. Oh, how do you guys think about GPT-4? And because we were just talking about, I need a transition. Y'all gonna throw it out.
Because I need the war like from her position.
Yo,
And that sucks, bro. Like, communism might or might not work. And he's like, what do you guys think about GPT-4?
no, because no, I said no, because wait, did I cut out? I said since it's so boring, let's stop talking about it. What do you guys think of GPT-4?
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay, I might have cut out. No, either way, it wasn't the clearest generation. They're definitely gotta work on that.
GPT-4, dude, it's insane. It's actually wild. Wait, did you see like the paper that came out today? About like, so someone made a paper of like how vulnerable each job is to getting taken over by AI.
Really?
We pull it out.
Wait, I think I
Yeah,
have it
pull it
up
up.
somewhere. Wait a second. Um,
Honestly, I think we start doing this more. Just like like pull the whatever we're talking about up and just talk about it. Yeah, share your screen if you want. I'll just add it into the edit later.
Can I share screen? Is that a thing?
Yeah, you can. I think you should be able to.
Okay. Can you see it or still loading?
It's loading.
Boom. We try again. Oh, there you go.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
This 35-page paper on GPTs or GPTs, an early look at the labor market impact of potential large language models. It's by OpenAI, okay?
Okay.
And so, wait, like sort of some like easily readable stuff.
I bet they used like ChatGPT to actually write some.
Yes. No. Wait, look at the bottom. Wait. Oh, it's somewhere here. Wait. Chat. What the hell? GPT-4 and ChatGPT were used for writing, coding, and formatting assistance of this project.
Wow. Dude, that's gonna become like a staple of all written text from this point forward. Like it'll always just have that caveat at the bottom, like GPT and
LLM
ChatGPT-4 we're
assistance
using.
statement.
Yeah.
But like, okay, let's look at this. Um, oh yeah, like right here, like occupations with the highest exposure, like interpreters and translators, like set
Yeah.
76%. Like mathematicians, 100% chance of exposure. Like
Wait,
writers,
what does exposure mean? Like they won't be useful anymore? Like their job's gonna get replaced?
I think exposure means like how, um, how much of their job is vulnerable to AI
Oh,
technology.
okay.
Um, but yeah, like it's a crazy paper.
I don't really see the mathematicians part though, because like for like pure math,
Well,
like don't you need people to think about like theories and like I guess the math itself, obviously you don't need people to like work it out by hand, but like the actual coming up with new theories, like don't you need
Yeah,
people for
making
that?
connections, like at least.
Yeah.
like most of math is just connecting the dots, right? Like all of everything is connecting all the dots, right? Like
Yeah,
being
but for like interpreter translators, I feel like I don't know how we haven't already replaced them. I feel like people are just so much slower than like a proper like GPT bot would be, and even graphic designers, I can see that as well. But see, like I don't understand that. Like, graphic designers with Dolly and like what's the other one called? Uh,
no, it's just variance. So this is like um this means like they had like their exposure mark for different models would be
uh-huh.
like very different.
Oh, okay. That's a
Yeah.
cool paper though.
Anyways, yeah, I haven't read it. I just like saw like these like charts and graphs. Like
Mm.
it's wild that we're measuring this stuff.
Yeah.
And like it's like the least likely. It was like wait, let me find it. Wait, yeah, occupations with no labeled exposed tasks. Like basically, if you want a job, 50 years down the line, pick one of these. Like dishwashers, dredge
Damn.
operators, like pile driver operators, like motorcycle mechanics.
Yeah. Labor work is like
Yeah, is humanity is gonna basically be like devolve into being the hands of AI, like the physical manifestation of it, where it's gonna do out their bidding, like in terms of because they obviously can't physically enact on the world, right? Do you think?
printing athlete is the way to go.
Yeah, athletes here as well.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Professional with this competitor.
Okay, relax. Let's take a step back from that.
I like to see GPT hit a 45'3", bro, against OKC. Game 6. Crazy.
Like could make that happen. Actually, I wanted. Okay, so I had early access to GPT-4.
Uh-huh.
Oh fuck! I think that's probably NBA. We went really.
That's fine, bro. We'll just scrap this entire podcast. We'll just talk. Yeah, we're gonna get fucking sued into the ground. This shit goes live. I know.
So yeah, it's like trying it out. Like it's really good. Like honestly, most people won't see much of a difference, but it's just better at problem solving.
Mhm.
And like I don't see much of a difference, but it's much faster. For most things, as I just like trust it more as well.
Yeah.
Like I I really want to make one thing I want to make a lot is just like a bot that responds to all my texts for me. Like I think of how much we have written just through texts or like messages in our entire lives, right? Like that all is saved somewhere in some
Dude,
database.
I at least saw like probably one of the best TikToks I've ever seen. Like it was basically a skit, right? And I was talking about AI in the year 2083, and I was saying like the term it coined was artificial what's it called? Artificial personas. And I was saying essentially from birth, every action you do, every piece of information you create related to yourself will be stored in a database somewhere. And at some point, say when you turn 18, you're able to consent for yourself, that AI or that AP will turn online and be able to essentially act for you in the way that you would act yourself in any given scenario. So like, for example, like texting for you, right? It'll be able to perfectly emulate the way you would respond to every text, even better than I guess you would in a way. right? It's like it just cognitively offloads everything, but in a way that it's still you. Like that is that's what I'm most excited about. Just having like a personal AI assistant that's essentially me, but just way more powerful, way smarter, way more capable in every like domain.
Why does it have to be you? Like, wouldn't you want Einstein as your assistant instead of yourself?
I mean, in certain things, like sure, like if I'm taking like a organic chem exam, like I'd want like Einstein to do
Yeah.
it for me, right?
Mhm.
But like, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just gonna say like when you talk to someone, like you want to talk to like them and not like Einstein, right? Because
Yeah, exactly.
sometimes you just want to talk to like that person, right?
Yeah, like you want your personality to be captured in combination with all the benefits of AI. Like right now, if you could snap your fingers and just be the smartest, most capable, like the AI in terms of your intelligence possible, like you do it probably, right? Like as long as you get to keep who you are as a person. So it's just that,
Yeah.
but like in reality,
Yeah. Right. I agree.
like
Wait,
that is like
I want to.
scarily close though, like that becoming a reality. Like even with like because I feel like GPT-4 is like still a very like rudimentary example of how powerful AI can be, or how powerful it will be, because we still haven't had a proper AGI. So like imagine once we actually have the technology, like this is crazy. Like I'm genuinely blown away by it every time I look into it.
Yeah.
It's wild. I also like it's a great reason for you to just start like living the life that you want to live. Because like the chances are you do not have the foresight to predict what life for any like the average human will be in like 5 years or maybe 10 years. And so like if you don't have that foresight, that you shouldn't be doing like crazy like things that you don't enjoy doing for the purpose of like them going well in 10 years. Because in 10 years, like you don't know what's gonna happen. It's like you should like that like basically AI is the reason you should start doing what you want now. Like if that wasn't already clear from like all other life lessons.
I guess like a two-part question. Do you guys, how do you actually see the future of it playing out? Like, do you think we'll devolve into a dystopia where like human beings are just used as manual labor and AI like actually takes over in some essence, only the richest of the rich kind of use the power that they have with AI to control the masses? Or do you think we evolved into some like modern utopia where everybody is able to pursue the things they actually want to pursue, do the creative endeavors they want to do, and like have AI and like machines essentially be working all the jobs and all the things that we didn't want to do initially? Like, how do you actually see it like going out? Like, let's say like by the year like 2080, where do you see humanity? Keeping in mind the forces of like capitalism and like everything like that, like how we work as a society today.
Dude, I have no idea. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, there's no way I can predict what it'd be like in 2030, let alone like 2080. Like I think like humans are quite resilient, and so I don't think we'll be like slaves, or we'll see ourselves as slaves.
Yeah,
Um, I think people will still find ways to find joy. Um,
yeah,
I don't know if that'll be the same way as we do now. Um, and the other thing is like, I I think like a lot of people will just start having AI friends. Like I think that'll be like very common for like
Yeah.
people to have relationships with AI.
mm,
And so like they'll eventually just like start merging in with humanity.
I think I talk to AI like every day, so
Yeah, dude. Do you so there's this company called Replica or Replicate or something like that, right?
yeah,
And it the the product was that you could like chat with a persona or like a character, okay, that you make.
mm,
And so people would like CS nerds would like talk to this person like these people so much, their characters, like they would develop like really like tight bonds with these people. Like a lot of them like thought they were like they're dating them. Okay?
yeah.
There's a
I
lot
think
of
you
people
imagine some CS nerd with like an anime waifu thing on his TikTok and then this fucking
dude, a lot of
chatbot, you.
people thought they were dating AI, but then like the company like ripped that feature out. Like in one day they ripped it out, and so many people were depressed and angry and upset. Like the number one link on that Reddit page was a suicide prevention hotline to make sure that these people who lost their AI friends and fucking like AI girlfriends like would not kill themselves because they cannot talk to them anymore. Like that's wild. Imagine the warfare you could cause with that. Just like injecting an AI like a good AI espionage spy into like some like situation and
Yeah,
like causing like emotional damage or like getting all the information. Like you cannot tell it apart.
Yeah, I feel like at the very least, kind of to answer my own question, all the problems we have right now with social media and technology are like 10x exacerbated by the introduction of AI. Like we have an extreme like loneliness epidemic. People are like more isolated than ever despite having social media. If we have this like the ability to basically talk with like I mean like our friends or like just like somebody like through in the form of AI, people are gonna be even less incentivized to like go out and actually
That's good, right?
engage.
Like that solves loneliness, doesn't it?
No, because like it's not. It's like it solves loneliness the same way that like TikTok solves boredom. It's like it
Yeah.
does in a way, but it's not actually good for you. Like we can't escape our evolutionary need evolutionary needs to like be in
Okay.
contact and socialize with other human beings.
I disagree. Like if boredom was a problem in society, then TikTok solved it. But boredom was never a problem in society because there's always things to do, right? Like
Yeah,
loneliness
but
is an
it's
actual problem in society.
it's a solution, right? But then like do you like if I ask you like is the solution to loneliness having a virtual girlfriend and virtual like friends to hang out with? Like no, right? Obviously, I think most people would say
What?
no.
No, I think that is a solution. Like if you take a person that is like isolated from society,
Okay.
the person was probably depressed and like suicidal, and you say like, hey, like obviously this isn't normal, but like you have a friend now, and they'll always respond to you, and they'll always talk to you, and like even if they don't like. In the future, they don't even know if they're a real human or not. But in this case, let's say they know it's not a real human, but they
Right.
still have someone to talk to. Like I think that would still be better than nothing.
Yeah, better than nothing for sure.
Yeah,
Like
but
I think it's actually a
it's
solution.
it's it's like cope though. Like it's not real.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I don't know how to.
It's like hope, it's like to
why is it? Why is it
It's
positive?
because it's like a dystopia. Like say like we expand that out, right? Nobody now needs to like you don't need to talk to people anymore. Okay, you can just sit in your room and have like the perfect friends, the perfect girlfriend, perfect whatever. Your life is like perfect from your social aspects, right? Like we expand that out to the entire world, the humanity just becomes like these mindless robots who sit in their room and talk to their virtual girlfriends all day instead of going out and conversing with people, having productive conversations, productive like not conversative, but having a
That's not
productive life.
productive conversation. Wait, like I'm confused as to why even that situation is bad.
Like let's for example like let's look at social media. Right, sorry to cut you off, Heath, but like let's just say like social media was meant to have us more interconnected, right? People are able to talk to each other easier. You connect with your cousins, family members across seas, friends, whatever, right? But I think it's kind of a well-known like established fact at this point that social media has made us more disconnected, more isolated, right? Because people are more interested in like being with their phones than they are with being with actual people. And the key with social media or the idea behind it was that it would what's the word, like facilitate us connecting with people on an actual like human basis. This in the same way AI or like GPT type things is meant to do that, but it wouldn't actually. It'd just make them more lonely.
yeah, like do you think of it now? People are never bored. You think of people and like a line in subway or people sitting on the bus, they're never bored. They're never like lonely. They're always looking at the phone or like, you know, like swiping on something up, down, whatever. But rarely do you see people just like sit down and just like think or talk to someone out in the
But like
open, right?
that's so different. Like that. You're basically saying social media took away boredom, which I agree. I agree that boredom is a very very productive thing to like keep in people's lives. Like, that's really good. But
Right.
AI is not removing boredom. AI is removing like loneliness and like probably like monotony. Not even monotony.
Like
Like there's that
monotony is
time
another
where
word
you're
for
doing something
boredom,
you're
no?
not doing. Like,
But like having that idea that this is a fake, your AI friends are not real in the back of your head was is not going to fix loneliness. It's just like putting a band-aid over the problem.
Yeah, like you're just living in a fantasy, right? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
let
It's
me
it's,
ask you
it's like
this.
it's like Ready Player One. Sorry, you can go ahead. I keep cutting you
Let
off.
me ask you this. Have you seen the Truman Show?
oh,
I've heard of it, but I kind of know the premise.
yeah,
Yeah, the premise is that this guy like just in this like world and he believes it's fully real.
Hmm.
But like the entire world was just like it's all just like actors and like people who set it up so that they could record it and people like in the real world could watch it as a TV show. But this
Yeah,
guy believed it was real. Okay.
yeah.
This guy loved his life. Okay.
Hmm.
He loved it. do you think, um, suppose in the end he ended up finding out that it wasn't true and like
Yeah.
made him go crazy, but
Mhm.
suppose he never found out. Like, is that a bad thing? Was that a bad thing to do?
Like in isolation, like if we were to say that we can sustain humanity in that way where everybody's in their virtual world forever, then sure. But the fact is that the material reality of our existence will always be there. If we just all are in our virtual worlds forever, the real world, like how, I mean, I don't know how to say it, but like our material reality will eventually deteriorate. People will stop having kids. People will stop, creating infrastructure. People will stop, leading governments, stuff like that, right? It'll all eventually disintegrate. Like for example, like the Truman Show is like the best way possible because it's one guy. But if we look at something like Ready Player One, right? Everybody's in their virtual worlds, right? But on the outside, their lives are in disarray, and we're falling into dystopia. Have you guys seen Ready Player One?
I haven't.
Okay, it's essentially like the premise. It's like very similar. It's like we have like extremely advanced VR technology. Everybody like puts on their headsets and lives in their VR world for the entire day. But then when they take it off, they realize that like everybody's aware of the fact that it's terrible, but like everybody would just escape into their VR world as soon as possible whenever they have a chance. Like they'll spend all their money in their VR world. They'll make friends in the VR world, and like because of that, like a super corporation has taken over the world in a material sense, and like there's a dystopia on the outside. Like that's how I see it going if we actually use AI as a replacement for social connection.
Mhm. I'm like, to get to that point, maybe I just need to watch the movie. Like, I think eventually you can just automate all that too. Like, you can automate all the things that humanity needs, like reproduction. That's just probably easy to automate. Um,
No.
What?
yeah, like yeah, well, like we have more external fertilization already working, like artificial insemination.
Sex bot
We
by
have
Shaw Industries coming soon, or what?
what?
Sex bot by Shaw Industries coming soon.
What do you need to make a kid? You need a sperm and an egg. Those are easy to retrieve
Okay.
for people. You need insemination. We've been having artificial insemination. Like the
Okay.
only thing like that we don't have really good right now is an artificial womb. And if boards and if ethic boards didn't like make that process super bureaucratic to be able to experiment on, we'd probably have it by now. Like we've grown like goats, like fully in artificial wombs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so like it's not hard. Like I mean, it's hard, but it's not like crazy to think that you can just automate reproduction. What else does humanity need? Like food intake, IV tubes. Like we have robot. We could have like robots, like like
Yeah.
making food for us. Like
The more I
everything in
think about it, like you're right, but also like it just feels dystopian. No, like it just feels dystopian to imagine humanity as a bunch of like ableist
what's gonna
bodies
happen?
sitting there with VR headsets.
What's gonna happen, if anything, is one of two things. One is AI becomes like a bad actor, or like AI or any of the automations that we create just become a bad actor, and like humanity just becomes extinct. Like that's like
Yeah.
very possible, right? Like, um, that's one. The other
Yeah.
is like, sure, like we become enlightened, and everyone gets their own VR headset and their own AI assistant to do everything they ever needed to, and like they can enjoy the great things that make them like awesome. Like I predict that there's certain like things about our real world that like people will come to realize were very important. Like let's say like gravity, or like the speed of light, like very like solid laws that we have in place in our real world right now that we think of as limits, but like they might have been imposed by like someone at some time for a certain reason. And, like so in our new world, we'll start imposing these rules again, and then like eventually nobody like nobody in that world will know, and like it'll just be an endless cycle of like new worlds being created with like different laws, different rules, and like in that like people will create their own things, and it's like it's basically simulation theory.
That's what I'm saying, bro. We
No, I was
really
gonna
need a
say.
by the way, like just putting it out there, like
But yeah, like I think AI is basically the vehicle to getting
All right, so
like
what if I pose this? Like, say right now I tell you like I'm an agent of the Matrix, and I'm come tell you that you guys are in the Matrix right now. If you want right now, you escape the Matrix, you escape the virtual reality world that we're living in, and you go and you can escape into the real world where humanity actually exists. Are you pressing the button, or are you choosing to continue living in this world?
I would press the button just because it'd be like an adventure. But I don't see anything wrong with this world.
It feels like too like fake and like not.
You could never tell if it's too fake. If it's non-falsifiable.
Yeah, like let's say like your world right now, that's how real it is. Like, do you want to escape?
Nah, but honestly, bro, I'm on the edge, bro. Like life right now is just not real. Like there's way too many cool things happening lately, and it's just like, bro, the Matrix is screaming at me.
This guy will meet one person named Will, and then meet another person named Will. And like, yo, like it's a Matrix. Like, wants to
Bob,
like this guy saw one street named Drake Street in Vancouver. And he's like, you know what? It's a Matrix.
Dude, we were literally driving on Drake Street. Guess what song we were fucking playing, yo? Drake. Drake. We were blasting Drake, yo.
see that though,
It's like
bro. It's like there's so many things happening. It can't all be just like randomly just connected and happen at the same time. Like, come on now.
like what motherfucker like God thinks it's so important to drop these Easter eggs in your life.
Until we right now, they gotta start like stop making shit up. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, that'd be cool if you're in someone's dream. What if like do like people would do like what do they call organisms with larger body masses sleep for a longer time? Like what if there's like a giant world, like a world
Yeah.
of giants, and we're just like dreams for them?
Yeah. So like, do you really remember, like when you were just like 1 year old? Like, no.
Well, that's
Okay.
that's a bold
And
conspiracy.
okay. And do you ever remember the start of a dream? No. You always wake up in the middle.
Yeah, have you guys heard of the universe started on last Tuesday, like theory? Like
No.
it's literally a theory called the universe started last Tuesday. It's like essentially there's nothing in our reality right now to prove that the universe didn't start last Tuesday. Like everything in our world could just be a figment of our imaginations. Like there's nothing that proves that history has existed. Like the historical artifacts we have are just created by the Matrix or created by some artificial simulation type thing.
Okay.
And all your memories are also just figments of your imagination. They're all just been created artificially.
Okay.
Yeah, I decided to take
Okay.
this.
What about the existence of time? I guess like you know that there's a thing like time and it has existed because like you look at like war veterans or really old people, so you know like time is a.
Oh, if there's a place there. What if?
What are you just fucking NPC? This is fun.
Yeah.
No, exactly. Like everything. Like there's like the famous I think therefore I am. Right. It's basically that, but like said in a different way. It's called last Thursdayism. I sent it in the chat if you guys want to look at it. But like it's the same thing as like, I think therefore I am. Right. It's like you have nothing that proves that like the material world or like any history exists. Because it can like we could just make everything. Like if this was a game, I can code the entire game right now and just put it into somebody's memory. Be like, yeah, this is the world.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Like, and I think the ultimate goal is like be a world builder. Like screw like like making like branding websites or like even like saving our current world. Like why not just like make a new world and make like billions of subjects to enjoy like the fruits of humanity and like to go through like the triumphs and struggles of like what our current society went through. Like that is cool. And, like
So
then you could design like different rules. You know, like
We're
this.
redesigning a matrix.
So no, you're really just saying that like being God essentially. Like, do you think that's where we go up? Like everybody becomes their own god of their own little universe.
So hype. Like what rule would you impose in your new world that's not the same in this world? Like I've been thinking about this a lot, but I can't get a good answer.
Like what rule? Like physical rule or like rule?
Yeah,
just-
and anything. Dude, you're God. Like,
Yeah.
Make money a thing, or like the concept of
but money could become a thing, right? Like over time, people could like barter and
will.
yeah.
You just know, but like it's so screwed because like at the end of the day, everything comes down to that, right? Like you gotta pay the rent, you gotta pay your employees, you gotta like fundraise so you can like get more employees and like move faster or like whatever, like buy food to like make to satisfy your hunger, or like, you know.
Well, you know what I would do actually? I would just change like the way that biology works. Just like humans need no nutrients except for like the sun. Like humans like have photosynthesis and they produce no waste. It's like no more needing to go to the bathroom or like brush or shower. Like basically all
What
of
are you
the
talking about, bro? What is this rule? Yo, honestly, if I could do anything, I just don't want to shower anymore. Like personally. Like, what? This guy talking about, man.
no bathroom logistics.
Nah, bruh. Okay, okay.
You don't have to poop, you don't have to pee, you don't have to shower, you have to eat, you have to drink. Like think of how much time these things take up in your life, bro.
See, I've kind of thought about this like in like before, but in a different way. Like I would think about like if I was in heaven, like what would I do? Like, essentially, you're a master of your own world, but like I wouldn't like play God in that world. Like I would just go into the world myself and live out different lives. Like okay, what if I was like 6'8" and had a 30 introvert? Like I want to be in the NBA. You know what I mean? Just like start to finish. Like I enter this reality. I don't know that like I'm controlling my own self right now, or like my God version of myself is controlling me right now, and my life's gonna play out as it would if I was like had this ability to go into NBA. That life finishes, I reset. I'm now gonna enter the world, and I'm gonna be like the startup, like the founder of some $1 billion startup. That life ends, I reset. I'm now just gonna be some like poor dude living in like the Maldives, some shit like that. You know, just like experience all the different things that life has to offer, just on repeat.
Dude, Mac, you can literally do that. It's
How?
called psychedelics.
No, but but you don't have that much control though. Like I can't just enter the psychedelic realm and like choose specific.
Pick certain people you want to be. Like,
No,
I
like
want to be LeBron James.
no, no, but like I would want all the challenges that those people had, and like all the things that they went through. Just like I just don't know that I'm controlling my own life right now. Does that make sense?
What challenges are you having as a 6'8" NBA basketball player?
No, no, no. No, like, I'm not born into that reality. Like I'm born as like baby LeBron James, right? And I don't know that like I'm gonna be in the NBA one day. But like, I just live my entire life, and then eventually, one day I end up in the NBA. I play my entire career. I die. When I die, I realize, holy shit! Like I was controlling that entire thing. That was sick. I run that back, but like as a plumber this time. Run it back. No, did you understand what I'm saying though?
Just become depressed.
No, because like no, because I don't know. Like when I'm in that reality, I don't know that I'm controlling it.
After you go back and you realize you control the whole thing, like if the life was really good, you just become depressed.
The memory resets.
Yeah, exactly. I'll just wipe my memory each time. Like for example, okay, like if I ask you, like you're in heaven right now, like what are you doing? Or like you're in heaven, like you're some like eternally powerful being. Like what are you doing? Like just like being, just like eating grapes on the sunset. It's like that's not fun. You know what I mean?
You getting the coldest glass of guava juice and chugging it down. Okay, like guava juice is busting, bro. Like
Facts. Go just go
Yeah.
hard.
I probably just continue doing what I'm doing now.
Exactly, right? It's like you'd live life with all the challenges. Like you want to go through difficulties and like triumph afterward and have the reward of it. No?
Or like remove like life logistics, bro. Like I'm telling you, there's no reason for us to like be like in cars, bro. Like transportation.
There's no reason to shit, bro. There's literally no reason to
There's
shit.
no reason to it's actually all a waste of time. Like
Yeah, low key, maybe that's one of like the proofs that we're not in a simulation. Like, would the simulators not have gotten rid of all these like unnecessary like logistical things? Like, what is the value of them watching a shit? Nothing, right? Right?
that's
Like, why would they not just have rules that are just like streamline life so they can have all the
what they just made like a shit ton of simulations, and then we're just the simulation that peas and foods.
That's kind of sad, yo. Like, we got the shit verse. Like that's what differentiates us. That's crazy.
But for us, in like the hierarchy of species, like we are at the highest because like we make ourselves the highest, you know? But you think of like some of the most simplest problems, and sometimes those are the hardest problems for some species, you know?
Yeah.
Like for example, like I don't know, like compare us to like monkeys, right? Climbing is like the easiest thing for them, but for us, it's like one of the hardest things, or like something like that, right?
Or like,
So what's on like for us, calculus, I guess is like something difficult or whatever. But like, what about are there other species out there which like the simplest task for them is like the hardest thing for us? You know, like, are we?
like how ants can carry like 300 times their body weight,
Yeah.
but you can't
Yeah.
bench a plate.
Joe.
Uh,
Not me, but
that makes sense though.
you can't imagine a four-dimensional object. Like you can't.
Yeah.
You just can't. You know, because like.
Yeah. We didn't evolve that way. Yeah.
But like, what if that's your limit? You know, and like, there's someone else. There's
Or like,
other
wait,
species.
what about this? Like, say we meet aliens, right? And say they were intelligent enough to figure out space travel without, or like figure out like intergalactic space travel without the use of AI. And say they never ended up developing artificial intelligence. And like they come across us and we're ahead in certain form of technology and they're ahead in certain forms. Like say they have the hardware and the software to do space travel, but they don't have the intelligence that AI has, that we built with AI. Like they don't have silicon based like intelligence, but like we have that, but not the ability to space travel. Like we always think of like alien beings as being just smarter than us on like every like in every aspect. Like maybe like the way that technology progresses leads you down different what's the word, like skill trees. So like human beings ended up leveling up their like silicon based technology skill tree. Meanwhile, some other species may have leveled up their like space technology exploration skill tree and then lost out on the other technologies.
Yeah.
Like that'd be crazy.
Like,
Wait, wait.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I guess you can't even like I'm like in any world like to figure out like or any world that I can imagine to figure out like space travel, like you need AI first. And so like wouldn't that be the progression of even an alien species?
I mean, but let's say for example, like the way to like figure out how to do like black hole, not black hole, like wormhole travel is like some like anomaly that happens every like 10 million years, and like if you're able to pick it up on some like gravitational like wave detection meter, like you're able to figure out like wormhole travel, right? Say we skip that part, we evolved AI, but those aliens caught that event, and now they learn how to do space travel, but we still are on AI.
Oh,
Like that's just one way, but like.
but that doesn't make the civilization like more intelligent than us anyway. That just means they found something.
No, yeah,
Or
I'm not saying.
they just found it.
Yeah, I'm not saying that they're more intelligent. I'm just saying that they have like we've evolved different technologies than they have, even though like we could be comparable in intelligence, or like they might even be smarter than us, but we were ahead in certain technologies. Like I don't know, it's just a thought I had because like I've never heard of people thinking that we might be ahead of aliens in certain aspects, even if they're smart enough to come reach us. Because we always think of aliens like going on the exact same trajectory as us. Okay, that we learn how to use tools, we develop silicon based architecture.
Like you think that like there's no other way like that uh, like something else can exist. It's like that's just your capacity of like thinking, you know. But like, what if like that's your threshold and like there's someone out there who's like, bro, are you stupid? Like you know how we think of like the ants or some insects, like bro, what's things doing? Like so stupid, so tiny, so like irrelevant.
Actually, if I was God, I can a mosquito is the most useless
Yeah, alchemy based.
like absolute organism in the world. I'd actually get rid of peeing, pooing, showering, and mosquitoes.
No, yeah, I would get rid of it.
Yeah, those are your three wishes if you get a genie. Yeah, no more shitting or peeing. Fuck the mosquitoes, and that's it.
Wait, Mac, do you hear what happened in Punjab?
What specifically?
Like the riots and like the internet outage.
No, not recently. I haven't.
Shut down.
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay. So like, I think it'd be too long to like fit in this podcast. Okay, it's fine.
We can write it down if you want to talk about it later. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Think about in like the next 20 years. If by the time you're 30 years old, okay, right? Like, what will the world be? What will you be? What will your friends be?
It's not even worth thinking about. Like,
Bro, like that's insane.
Dude, I'm kind of scared that I'm doing the wrong shit. Like I feel like I'm gonna get left behind in like this like new AI wave because of like the field that I'm trying to go into. You know what I
But
mean?
it's like, why even worry about it? Like, just
Yeah,
regardless
like
in life, the advice was always to do what makes you happy.
See, simulation said no.
if there's any chance, let's shut the fuck up, Christian. The simulation said. Yo, my Wi-Fi is also on the shitter, so maybe we should.
Coincidence and just start copying on that. Like, come on now.
As I was saying,
Stop calling.
in life, the general advice always has been to like do what makes you happy and joyful now, right? Like, that's always been the advice. It's like, as long as you don't change that, doing the right thing, right?
I mean, I don't know if I agree. That's always been the advice. Like, say, maybe I could have more long-term happiness if I like forewent this like going into like med or whatever, and then chose to like transition to being like a CS fucking nerd and like work on AI. Because long term, it could be like I could have more wealth from that, which would lead me to being able to like do the things that I want to do, like help people I want to help, that type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But once you live those lives,
Live the lives of like.
work really hard to get wealthy, and then do the things they want to do, always regret working really hard to like become wealthy, because the things they really wanted to do weren't that expensive.
Yeah, that's true. I guess the wisdom is always the same. People always have the same struggles and the same regrets at the end of life. Yeah, I think we should call it. We're near an hour now.
We actually go longer and longer
Yeah.
I don't mind. It was like a conversation.
into conversations.
All right, guys. That's been episode 9. I've been Mohammed. That's been Krish and Heat. Thanks for joining us. Peace.
But